Let's do it.
Could you just reflect what a moment this is given how long it's been?
It's a moment I'll definitely never forget.
And they're going to the playoffs. What a season.
Everybody likes getting a ticket to the dance, but if you want to dance with the pretty girl, that means you got to make it to the end.
It's called Antonio Brown.
It's an honor to break Randy Moss's record.
Do you anticipate being back here?
Jonathan Taylor, have a day.
The bitter taste in our mouth.
Picked up Josh Norman.
Not a way we want it to go down.
I love where this team is right now.
There is your dagger.
Murray comes limping off the field.
A pick six.
That's the hand we got dealt. It is what it is.
History for the Kings. Logan's kick is up. AFC South champion. Touchdown, Seahawks.
Oh, that's a heartbreak. Dolman fumbled the ball.
And then I picked the ball up, put it in my arms like this.
I'm going to go back to the office right now, start watching Tampa. We'll see what happens tonight.
What a catch by Logan Thomas.
Nate Sudfeld did. We're all confused now.
Oh, do we have so much to talk about. 2021, let's get it. Max, Stephen A., I'm Molly. Welcome to First Take. Hi, guys. Happy New Year. How was the break? Everyone feeling good this morning?
Happy New Year. Feeling great.
Well,
Happy New Year, everybody.
Feeling good?
All right. Yeah,
Feeling
I am
good.
too. Had a nice break, but happy to be back. Yeah, Max, I know, the Giants. Let's go there right now because we got to talk about it. It was the perfect ending to the NFC East, just like we all predicted it, right? Washington, of all teams, wins the division. I want to share a tweet with you guys from Chris Mortensen. So listen to this. This is the most negative barrage of comments I've received about a game's lack of integrity, and that's not even counting Giants-related bias. Consensus from those in the NFL and who have been associated with it: disgrace. That's not the fault of the Washington football team. Max Kellerman. I was so elated after they beat the Cowboys watching that game. I know you were too. We are both Giants fans. How upset do you think folks like us should be this morning?
I can tell you how upset I am. I'm livid.
Tell me.
I tweeted last night, Doug Peterson is my enemy. Like, if you're a Giants fan, you hate Doug Peterson this morning. And by the way, if you're an Eagles fan, you do too. And if you're anyone except the Washington, and even Washington, like, they didn't win the game, I'm sure, the way they wanted to win. They're happy they're in the playoffs, but he's lost respect throughout the NFL. From a Giants fan point of view, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look, guys, I could understand, and I'm not even talking about going for it on fourth down. Go for it. You put in your third stringer, Sudfeld, what? When Jalen Hurts, yeah, he was struggling of late in the game.
Unbelievable.
But he's the only reason they were in the game on offense. And I believe if they leave him in, they win. I mean, I understand if you're playing some team you don't care about and you can stick it to a divisional rival. Yeah, okay, fine, I get it. You're playing a divisional rival. You have a chance to play spoiler by beating them and keeping them out of the playoffs. And you want to give your third stringer a look? Do you think we even believe that? So then you look at draft position, you go, okay, if Trevor Lawrence or some quarterback they believe is a generational talent is available, if they lose this game, a lot of people still don't like it. If you listen to Jason Kelsey, he still wouldn't like it. He made a lot of good points at the post-game presser. This is not basketball where one guy is going to have that much of an influence. But at least then I understand. I might even agree with it. That's not the case. Go from 9 to 6? Are you kidding? The Giants aren't in the playoffs and really didn't have a chance because Doug Peterson pulled that stunt and then expects us to believe his excuse afterward? What? I mean, and by the way, if that's actually what he meant, you got to get rid of him for that kind of thinking alone. To give your third stringer a look because he's been there for a while? No, after the ups and downs of this season, after the Giants finish against the Cowboys, after all of that, for this to come down to Doug Peterson pulling the only chance they had to win the game, and I believe the guy that would have delivered it to him, for nonsense reasons that I don't even believe, is the most outrageous decision made in the NFL this year, on-field decision made in the NFL this year, period.
Well, but y'all shut up. Stop it. You,
Oh,
Molly,
whatever, Stephen A.
Ryan Clark,
Whatever.
Dan Orlovsky, Rex Ryan. Y'all just stop the nonsense. First of all, let's look at how the game started, ladies and gentlemen, okay? There was no Fletcher Cox. There was no Miles Sanders. There was no, what was it? Dallas Goedert, Derek Barnett, several other regulars. There were none of these people starting the game. That's number one. Number two, it's not like Jalen Hurts looked like he was playing lights out. What was he, 7 for 20 for 72 yards? He ran for the 2 touchdowns, but he looked god-awful throwing the football. That's number two. Number three, they had a chance to go ahead. Obviously, he had a dude wide open in the end zone. He missed that throw. Listen, we all understand that Doug Peterson's lying through his teeth. He clearly didn't give a damn about winning the football game. We understand that. But why would that be? Could it be because the Eagles weren't going anywhere? Could it be because the Eagles stunk all year long? Could it be because, Max, they stayed with your guy, Carson Wentz, who, by the way, was designated inactive for this game? He wasn't even a backup, Sudfeld was. The bottom line is this. For you Eagle fans out there, pump the brakes. There's a silver lining. Your season has been sorry. Your team has been garbage. Your defensive coordinator, Schwartz, is going to be gone. Doug Peterson's lucky he's going to be there. Howie Roseman's lucky he's going to be there. It's been an absolute positive mess. But here's the silver lining. You actually move up 3 picks in the draft. Now check me if I'm wrong, Max Kellerman. How many times, for the purposes of this discussion, how many times, Max, have we sat here on this very show and watched one NFL analyst, one NFL aficionado after another lament the importance of draft picks? Oh, my God. You and I have sat back and went like this. Damn, it ain't that big of a difference between 6 and 9. Oh, what are you saying? It's an incredible difference. What are you talking about? Oh, my God. It means everything. I mean, the 6th pick instead of the 9th pick. Do you understand what that means? I'm not talking about you, Max. I'm saying we've heard one NFL official after another over the years that we have been doing this show. Come on this show. You too, Molly. You were sitting right there in that seat. You sat up there and you watched them come on this show and talk about the importance of picks, particularly first rounders. And so the Philadelphia Eagles, by losing the game, goes from the 9th pick to the 6th pick. I'm not saying it's that big of a deal. I'm saying they have been saying it's everything. So if it's everything,
no one's thinking about picks this morning.
That's the silver lining in them losing last night.
No, well, actually,
Stephen A., you're Molly.
Oh, I just said none of us are thinking about picks right now except for you, even though you are sort of right. Go ahead, Max.
Well, I would say this. They might be fit. That like when you think about what could possibly be the motivation, that's probably it, right? But it goes to the integrity of the game yesterday. Again, if it's Trevor Lawrence or some lower pick and you believe Trevor Lawrence is all the difference in the world, I get it. And a lot of people would debate me on the integrity of the game, and I'd say, look, it's a transformational player versus a win that, I'm sorry about the integrity of the game for the other team, but if it was a divisional rival that you could keep out by losing to a team in the other conference in another division you don't care about, right? Fine. I even understand they stuck it to the Giants. Boy, in a way, I almost have to respect that, right? They're playing Washington. They're playing a divisional rival. They had the chance to play spoiler and keep them out by beating them. And here's the thing. This is in my opinion. In my opinion, the Eagles have no credibility. When they leaked to Mortensen about, when he's reporting that they want to trade Carson Wentz, it's irreparable between Carson Wentz and Peterson, but they're going to want a king's ransom for Wentz. How do the Eagles put that out there with a straight face? They ain't getting anything for Wentz. They're lucky to offload the contract. They're going to have to give up.
Time out, Max.
Yeah.
Did you just ask the question how the nerve the Eagles had the audacity to do that with a straight face? Did you just say that?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, then why the hell do you have a straight face? Molly, correct me if I'm wrong. Am I not looking at the dude right now in that split screen? Is his name not Max Kellerman? Is that the dude that supported Sam Hinkie for years? Is that the dude that supported the process
the
for years?
Max
Is that the dude with the same straight face that talked about, excuse me.
Hold on.
Wait, I'm
you
getting
missed
to you.
the best point.
Hold on, I'm
the
getting
clip.
to you. Let me get my soliloquy out. Isn't that dude, Molly, that sat up there and said, yo, what's the big deal? There's a grand scheme here. There's a benefit. Who gives a damn about them losing? They weren't going anywhere anyway. Last time I checked, the Eagles wasn't going anywhere.
Facts
there
on
are
facts on
many
facts.
more
Stephen
players
A.
on a
Let's be
football
refreshed
team.
After this break.
The nature of football is that, as Jason Kelsey eloquently and passionately brought up after the game,
it's okay
the nature of football is that one player. Yes, one player is as transformational in football as they are in basketball. He literally said, this is not basketball. Wait a minute. This is not basketball. So that's, if you want to talk about why there's a difference, there absolutely is a difference. But the credibility, wait a minute, but the credibility is not just about the Wentz nonsense that they spun. Clearly, they were trying to lose the game, in my opinion. And in fact, and you even brought it up before, Stephen.
I agree.
And they sat a bunch of guys.
I agree with that.
And even then, Jalen Hurts looked like he was going to win it, even with the poor play later in the game. In spite of all that, Hurts gave him a chance. So what did they do? They actually pulled the one guy that gave them a chance to win. It's outrageous.
Max, couple of things. Number one, don't waste seconds with your drivel about telling us the difference between basketball and football. I think we know what the difference is. That's number one. Number two, I go back to your point. What I'm saying to you is I'm not denying the fact that there's a difference between basketball and football. I'm talking about the argument you elected to make when you were talking just about the Sixers, not comparing the sports. When you made the argument about the Sixers, you said, A, they weren't going anywhere anyway. You said, B, it's about what you can get on the back end because clearly for the front end, for the immediate moment, you ain't getting anywhere. So what difference does it make? I'm saying when you take those salient points into consideration, it now becomes applicable anywhere you look. The Eagles were 4-11 or whatever, 4-10, whatever the hell their record was. They sorry. We get that, okay? They weren't going anywhere. Combined with the fact that they moved up 3 slots in the draft and they didn't give a damn about helping or hurting Washington or helping or hurting the Giants. They just cared about themselves, which is something you endorsed, even if it were at the expense of fans paying their hard-earned money as customers. You didn't care. You don't get to sit up here and care now.
Wait a minute. Yes, I do. You don't tell me what I care about. In a full contact violent sport, 11 on 11. In a full contact violent sport, 11 on 11. When your guys are playing their guts out, it is completely different in terms of the culture of the team than in the NBA, where that may not always be the case. The nature of the sport
They would tell you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Fewer players, superstars have a bigger impact in the NBA. But you're bringing up the Sixers to the
you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Look,
you just question how hard the NBA players play.
No, I'm saying the sports are different. Baseball and basketball are not the same as football. It's not trench warfare up front. It's not a full contact violent sport. The very nature is different, but I already addressed this.
Not to them, Max.
I might even understand.
Not to them.
Understand if you had a chance to get a transformational player. They went go from 9 to 6.
All right, y'all. We could keep doing this. It is a little bit contradictory, Mr. Trust the Process, but we got to keep it rolling, Stephen A., because there's another team who was in action
They're not a little contradictory. It's a lot contradictory.
Both
go ahead.
I know. I just want to make sure everyone at home understands the difference between football and basketball, okay? Let's keep it moving here. So some people thought that the Dallas Cowboys had Super Bowl hopes. Is that fair to say? Yes, I think that is fair to say. But instead, they haven't even made it to the playoffs. The Cowboys will be a no-show in the postseason. Now, in fairness, they are without their star quarterback, who the team did not commit to long-term. That would be Dak Prescott. Stephen A., do you give Dallas a pass today because they didn't have Dak at the helm?
Well, somewhat. from the standpoint that from the moment that Dak Prescott got hurt, we didn't expect them to go anywhere. But what I would say to you is this. When it comes to Mike McCarthy, that defensive coordinator you brought in, that to me was the death knell for Mike McCarthy. That's when I lost faith in him. That's when I looked at him as being the same old archaic dude that departed from Green Bay unceremoniously. That's what I think about when I think about the Dallas Cowboys. So it's a quick answer to this question. I would tell you it's somewhat of a pass because Dak Prescott was injured. And from that moment, we really didn't expect much from them anyway. That's where I'm at with it, Max.
Look, he gets a pass. I hate to say it because Mike Tomlin played a season without Roethlisberger, went 8-8. Mike McCarthy ain't Mike Tomlin. No one really believed that going in. He's won a Super Bowl, but no one was like, hey, Mike McCarthy's as good a coach as Mike Tomlin. No, he's not. He's not in that upper crust of coaches. Certainly not anymore if he ever was. And so if you compare him to the elite, you're going to say, what about this guy or that guy? All right, whatever. He's not that. I never thought he was. But if you're going to ask me, like, if Tomlin would have won 6 games last year without Roethlisberger, if you ask me, would he get a pass? I'd say, yeah. I have to say yes. Because, Stephen A., we both agree, I hope, that if Dak plays this year, Cowboys win the division. Do you agree that if Dak plays, they would have won the NFC East?
I believe they would have won the NFC East, but I still don't believe that absolves Mike McCarthy from hiring Mike Nolan as his defensive coordinator.
All right. We're on the same page about that. But if the question is, does he get a pass because of Dak? Yes. If you lose your starting quarterback, and he's a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, and you come a game away from the playoffs, I think probably Dak makes a 2-game difference here, and they win the East, as it turns out, kind of easily, because that's how bad the East was this year. And if you get to the playoffs, if that means he gets a pass, yes. Do I think they were going to do anything in the playoffs? No, I don't. I don't think they were going to do anything in the playoffs.
Well, let me say
they would have gotten there.
Let me modify my position to some degree. It's only because of Dak. There's certain things that they can't be absolved from. We got Ezekiel Elliott calling out of a game in the first half when they've got like a 1st and 10 on their own 18-yard line. That's when he's supposed to be the bell cow. You're the highest paid running back in the league. You got to handle your business. That's number one. So we've got that as an issue. We also got an issue of Amari Cooper disappearing in big moments. Obviously, numbers are respectable, but when you really, really need him, has his number been called? Has he been called upon? We look at C.D. Lamb dropping passes. As much of a stud as he is, he's dropped a few passes over the last few weeks, and it's very, very glaring. All right? And then we look at them defensively. This is a team that ranked 28th in the league defensively overall and second to last against the run. You ran on the Cowboys all day long this particular season. So in regards to that, I got to look at coaching because I got to look at the staff you've assembled. I got to look at some of the things that you've ignored defensively. And so in that regard, I certainly do not give them a pass. When we ask the question, is it because of Dak? Yes, because despite everything that I just highlighted, as horrible and pathetic as this division was, the NFC least, we all know that if Dak was there, the likelihood is that the Dallas Cowboys would have won 7 or 8 games, and as a result, they would have won the division by default. But it does not absolve Mike McCarthy from what we've been seeing from them all around. He didn't get the job done this year, plain and simple.
Well, sure. But listen, and their offensive line is like, that's a thing of the past. The great Dallas offensive line, a lot of those guys just aren't there anymore, right? Injury, age, retirement, whatever it is, they're not there anymore. But that's why you need Dak. That highlights Dak's importance because you need a guy to make lemonade out of lemons when you lose most of your offensive line. I have to say, they get a pass this year. The Cowboys were going to win the division. They lost their quarterback, and then they didn't. To me, that's a pass.
My only problem is what we're talking about the offensive line when Dak Prescott was healthy. Well, we're talking about the offensive line, Molly and Matt.